The beginning after the end. 12 episodes, action, fantasy, isekai, and a manga adaptation. Now, for a quick synopsis, we have before being our main character, before being isekai, he was a king in a sci-fi futuristic world where he ruled with fear and might, and later on dying from old age, and later and being isekai to a world of fantasy where the only thing that carried over from his previous world was his knowledge of ki and how to fight with swordsmanship, and that knowledge helped him to get a heads up compared to other children where he learned how uh, to develop faster when his fighting prowess, let's say. Now, that's a quick synopsis that I just said. Now, I'm going to say something that I haven't seen any other YouTuber say or any influencer say about this anime. To me, this anime falls under the category that is so bad that is good. Seriously, seriously, there were many scenes throughout this anime that were supposed to be taken seriously. They were supposed to be tenseful, or and so on. But the animation was so bad that it made me laugh, and I just couldn't help it. It just made I it was the type of bad that I go, seriously, how can they even do this? It was just what were they thinking type of way when I was laughing. No, even though there were many laugh out moments when it comes to the animation, for me at least, the not every single the animation the sorry not the entire anime wasn't full with that type of animation. It ranged from so bad it's good to okay animation. It never, to me at least, it never reached the level of good or fantastic or anything like that. To me it just reached from so bad it's good to okay animation. And but when it got bad in the best way possible, at least for me. The other thing about the animation is that there were 3D models in a when it comes at least that I noticed between two things. One, it was the dragon, and with dragons I gave it a pass because for some reason horses and dragons in many anime they're subjected to being 3D models. I don't know why. One would think that through without many years of having this problem, many studios or the anime industry would know how to do them correctly in 2D. And I'm not saying every anime, there's anime that properly animated in 2D. But when it comes to dragon and horses, most likely of the time, like 80% of the time, they're 3D models. So by now I just learned to accept it. But there were uh another 3D models when it comes to the wolf, because when the our main character sadly got separated from his parents, and after the whole dragon thing, he was wandering down the forest where he meets an elf and save her from kidnappers of slave traders, and they free a couple of wolves. And you will think that there was supposed to be a heartwarming moment or something like that, but the 3D models on those wolves were just so goofy because though they were wolf with antler ears, and the faces of those 3D models were just goofy. That one would think that these are, well, I don't know if I can say that word in YouTube, but you see those faces of those wolves. I'm going to put an image. Sorry, I'm going to put an image here. But each time those wolves appear on screen, I just couldn't help but laugh. I just what were they thinking with? And look, with the dragon, like I said, I gave it a pass. I'm used to it. But those wolves, they're not. They're not. How do I say this? They don't have so much detail on their model that they have to have done it with 3D models. They don't have so much detail. They could have done 2D models, but I don't know. Maybe they just don't know what they were thinking. So when it comes to look, well, that's yes. I think when it comes to the animation, I'm just going to leave it there. I already talked too much about it now. When it comes to the other thing that I want to talk about is with the writing. Now, I have to say that I did read the manhwa years ago when it was still in its infancy, and I read it all the way until they got to the village, and I got caught up with the manhwa and started reading it, and years later I forgot about it, and this anime remind me about it. So maybe I'll check it out and continue where I left off. But I do remember bits and pieces of the manga when I read it years ago. So I have to tell you, when it comes to the writing and the dialogue from this anime, sadly, yes, it got nerfed. It was what I'm going to say, because the manga had masterful level of writing and dialogue, and yes, the anime did knock it down a couple of notches. Now, even though that it was knocked down a couple, like I said, a couple of notches, you can still feel or see the charm of the writing. So even though they took masterful level writing and knock it down, you're still left with good level of writing. So it could have been bad, it could have been worse, but at least with the writing, what I'm trying to say is that from masterful writing to very good writing, it was is what I'm going to say. Now, I think I'm going to leave it with, sadly, with the with the animation being so bad at this that is good, with the writing being knocked down a couple of notches from masterful to good. This anime sadly is another example that anime like Solo Leveling is the exception, not the rule. Because throughout the years, I've seen recently many manga adaptation to anime form where they just don't give it the proper respect and care as they do like Solo Leveling. Because typically what I have noticed that the anime industry does is either they give a very crappy animation or very bottom of the barrel animation, or second, they, in order to fit it into a 12, 13 episode run, they chop up a lot of the dialogue and a lot of scenes in order to, like I said, fit it into 12, 13 episodes, that many, you are left with so many scenes cut, you are not properly able to connect with the characters or with the story. And they have done that a couple of times. And worse is when, like by three, is when they do the two things together: crappy animation plus crappy adaptation. So sadly, yes, I have seen a lot of manga adaptations. Now I haven't seen all of them, so there could have been a couple of decent ones that I have not watched. But I watched a lot of anime. I watched both God of High School, Tower of God, A Returns to Magic should be special. The Dr. Elise, the Lamp, I forgot the name, sorry. But I have seen a lot of manga adaptations, and just sadly they just don't give it the same level of respect that they do with Solo Leveling. Maybe with Solo Leveling, look, begin. I just don't know. There's stuff of the anime industry. I'm just a watcher, so there's stuff that is inside of the industry that obviously I don't know about. So what guess maybe it's because of a scheduling. Maybe they were able to give a Solo Leveling a proper schedule for the animators being able to do just such a good job that they did with Solo Leveling. But I just wish the anime industry would do that with all manga adaptations, because there are just some good, very good, popular mangas that deserve that level of respect. And the beginning after the end was supposed to be one of them. It's just so sad. So I'm going to leave it here. So I'm going to give this anime a score of 5, a 5 out of 10. Now, personally, I have a lot of fun with the, like I said, so bad is good animation. And have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from. See you next video.